Hello everyone, this is Rose from Untwist Your Stitches, and this is Flosstube number 41. I am going to be showing you my finish parade, and that is everything that I have stitched, both cross stitch and sewing. I don't have any crochet finishes for this year, so there won't be any crochet. But any of my sewing and my cross stitching and other kind of fun things that I did throughout the year. I do this because I don't really carry a lot of whips. So my whip parade would be very dull and boring. And basically you'll see all of my whips in January when I show you all the things that I stitched for 12 by 12 and any of my current whips that are going on. So this is a finish parade of what I have done since January 1st of 2025. And the first thing I have to show you is my smiling strawberries. This is done on one of the It's So Emma bags, and this was a pattern that I had that was a freebie in my stash, and I thought it would look adorable on this bag. So I did that, and that was my first finish, and it's all done with 6 strands of DMC floss. I don't use the pearl cotton because I don't want to add that to my growing supplies. And it just works out where if I use all 6 strands of the DMC, it makes this kind of coverage. And I don't remember the company that made that pattern. If you really want to know what it is, I can try to look it up, but it's something I've had in my pattern supplies for several years, so I'm not sure I could give you that information, but it was a freebie. The next thing that I finished was my project that I made for my husband. The wolves are from a Janlyn kit called Northern Lights, and I just used all of the floss that was in that kit. Now, in the kit, there's a bunch of snow falling around them, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just focus on the wolves. And then the quote, I charted that up myself and stitched it. And it's something that my husband had been asking me to do for him for several years. So this is what, and this is how I finished it, and it hangs in his room. So that was my second finish. It was done on 16 count Haunted by Picture This Plus, and like I said, all of the floss was in the kit. Wow, my hair's going crazy today. All of the floss was in the kit from Janlyn. The next thing that I finished was my blessing sampler, and this has been hanging in my living room all year. It is a partial kit from the January Sugar Stitches pattern that I modified. I kitted up this cardinal because the two windows only had the candle on one side, and I wanted to fill in that windowsill. So I put together that cardinal and added it, and then I added the 2025 and the blessings, and some of these motifs from the actual pattern were rearranged to make it look like this. But this is my, oops, I've got a string hanging down. This is my blessing sampler from 2025. And I am planning on doing a blessing sampler for 2026, but that will be in the next floss tube that I do for you. This was done on 14 count malachite by Charles Craft. And I used most of the suggested colors, but not all, because I added in some sparkle. Not sure you can see, but I did add in some Krynic metallic to get some sparkle in there. So then you've been watching me. If you are a follower, oh, I didn't greet anybody that's new. If you're new, I would appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button, and also anybody that's watching this, if you would hit the like button. That puts me out into YouTube's universe more, to get more exposure is the word I'm looking for. But if you've been following me this year, you have seen that I am doing 12 months of, or 12 projects, one per month, for my perpetual calendar that I got from, I'm not going to be able to remember. Where did I get this? Oh, Paisley and Polka Dots. There it is. There it is. Boy, brain dead. So anyway, I started out in February. I didn't start with January because I had my blessing sampler that I wanted to get done. So in February, I did the carnation. March's flower is chrysanthemum. Then aster for April. For May, I chose the sweet pea. June was the daffodil. July was Lily of the Valley, and that is because this is my favorite flower and my birthday is in July. So July got Lily of the Valley. August got gladiolas. September got larkspur. November got, October got calendula. November got wild rose. December got golden lilies. And I just finished January so that it's all ready to go in a couple of days. And that is violets. Violets. So I got those 12 done. The majority of them, all except for this one, are free patterns that I got from Ellen Maurer-Stroh's website. And I do believe the last time I looked, they were still available on her website. Now this one was a Solaria pattern. It is done on 18 count opalescent on just a scrap Ada. And it's done with the suggested DMC colors. Now I did that because the only flower left in the Ellen series was a poinsettia, and I do not care for poinsettia flowers. So I changed it up, and then in doing that, because this is a different designer, obviously, I had to put those flowers on 18 count to make it fit. All of these others are done on 14 count Aida, and all of them are done on scrap pieces of Aida that I had in my stash that I was able to use to put them together. So at this point, I'm going to have to just put a picture in, because the next thing that I finished was an artist trading card. I did that in conjunction with Stitching by the Shores, Flosstube, and Laura is the producer of that. And she does exchanges for ATCs. And the first one that I did with her, it was supposed to be something that indicates where you're from. And I did the little billy goat that I'm showing on the screen now. And that is because my address is Billy Goat Lane. So the little billy goat just made me laugh that I would do that. Then I also later on in the year did 2 more artist trading cards. One was a rainbow and one was an umbrella. And the theme for that was air and water. So I did not do the fire and earth trade that was later on in the year, because at that time I was so busy with other stuff, I didn't have the time to finish them up. So I only was able to participate in 2 of the exchanges. But hopefully next year when she does some more, I'll be able to participate again. And they're really fun. And I got some really nice cards in exchange for what I participated in. Okay, so then we are going to continue on. And the next 2 things that I completed was my 12 months of Snowman. It is a Zwiegart pamphlet. I have done January, February, March previously, not this year. This year, I finished April. And what I do for these is I make them into an envelope pillow, and then I can use the same pillow form and just change out my snowmen for each month. So this month is April. And that's the backing that I did for it. And then the next one that I finished was May. And again, it's made into a envelope pillow. Now, they may not look the same, but that's because of the ruffle. It makes it look much bigger, but they are the same size, so I can use the same pillow form when I am exchanging these out. So I've got January, February, March, April, and May finished, and I'll be working on more this year as I go along. All right, so the next thing that I did was a small, and it is Patriotic Snowman by Marilyn Frable. It is on 32 count raw with mini polka dots, and it's a linen. I believe it's a Zwiegart. Yeah, I think it's a Zwiegart linen, but I can't be 100% sure. And it's done with all the suggested DMC floss. And I put these little charms up there. So that was that finish. And this goes on my Patriotic wall. I have a section all set aside for Patriotic stitching And this goes with that. Stitching and other patriotic items. Okay, so let's see what came next. All right. The next thing that I finished was my "'Tis the Season" by Blackbird Designs. This is done on an 18-count Gosling Ada by Picture This Plus, and it is my color conversions. I changed pretty much, I think I changed all of the colors. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I changed every single one of the colors. And it's a combination of fancy floss, overdyes, and DMC. And this comes out in January with all my other cardinals and sits for the month of January to give me some bright colors, because January is always such a dull month, you know, with the snow, and we're after Christmas and all the decorations have gone away. So you need something bright to happy up the house. And so I have a bunch of cardinals that I put out, and I also have some blue and silver snowmen that I bring out. And then the next thing I did is I did some sewing. I had, when I went to do my Christmas cards, discovered that my computer in the move had lost all of my addresses. Now, thankfully, there was a backup on my husband's computer, and he sent me all of the addresses, but I got tired of losing my addresses by doing them digitally. So I made myself a new address book. And this is just material that I had for scrap. And I can't really show you the inside because it's got all my addresses in there, and I don't think that'd be a good idea. But yeah, it's just one of those, it's a 9 by, is it 9? 8 by 5? Anyway. It's one of the mini binders, and I've got my address pages in there for all my different addresses and a few of my passwords also. So this is my address book that I made. I also, at that same time, I made 4 other, which I'll put pictures in as I'm talking. I'll just put the pictures in front of my face. I made 4 other binders, one for each one of my 4 nieces that I was going to go see when my oldest sister's oldest niece graduated from college in Arizona. And we all went down there to be there for her, and her cousins all got a binder that I made for each one of them to use for notes or whatever it was that they wanted to use them for. So those are the other 4 binders that I made at that time. Then I did this little project, and this is my own pattern. I call it All My Friends Are Flakes. I've got 4 of them in different configurations. And this was part of my July Stitching Adventure box. You got the pattern for one day. Then you got the fabric another day. You got all of the flosses. This blue is a overdyed from Weeks Dye Works, and then the black and the red are DMC. You also got the wooden forms and the fabric, the backing fabric, to cover each of the, there's a form on front and a form on back, and you could cover the wooden forms and put it together. And then each box got not just this color, but got different trims to use for finishing projects. And I just used some of the trims that I had put together. These aren't, each box had its own separate set of trims that came with it, but this was one of the sets. So that's what that was. And I finished it, and it was hanging on my tree this Christmas. Again, another string. Must be the glue that I used to stick them all together. It is got some glue hanging. So that was oh, did I tell you that it was on 18 count opalescent fabric? But each day, you know, the pattern was one day, the fabric was another day, the floss was another day, and the trim was another day, and then the forms with the fabric was another day. So that was part of my stitching adventure box that I did in July. And there were 31 days of different items that you got in that box. Okay, so, the next few things I'm just going to have to give you pictures of because they were all gifts that I made over the year. The next one I'm going to show you, the pattern is Sisters by Stoney Creek. They are both done on 32 count linen. It is neutral stripes. And then the colors are my conversion. I made one for each one of my sisters for their birthday. The blue was for my oldest sister. That's her favorite color. And the peach was for my middle sister, which is her favorite color. So that's what those are. The next pictures you're going to see are the stuffed animals that, oh, well, I'll be darned. I did have a finished crochet project. I wasn't thinking about it when I told you I didn't. I had one finished crochet project, and that is the duck. I made that for a friend. She had one as a kid, and she wanted to have one for her family. So I found the pattern and made that for her. Then I did the 3 sewn animals. They are all from, the duck, that pattern came off of Etsy. The 3 animals are all from Funky Friends Factory Pattern Company. The frog I gave to my granddaughter when I went and saw her in July. The hedgehog went to her as a birthday present along with a book about hedgehogs. And the moose I made and gave to the women's auxiliary for the church to sell at their craft bazaar to make money for their different programs. So all of those are gone. Then the next 2 pictures are the 2 quilt tops that I put together for the group in town that makes quilts for kids that are going into foster care for the first time. They each get their own blanket. We make them pretty much a uniform size. It's basically the size that would fit on a twin bed but hang over, so it's a little bit bigger than a twin blanket. But it's something that those kids get, and no matter where they go, it's theirs. Once it's given to them, it's theirs. So they will always have something that they can hold on to throughout the process of going through foster care. And I made 2. I just do the tops. I don't do any of the quilting or the binding. That's passed on to the quilting portion is done by the quilt shop that I frequent in town, and then the binding and that is done by other ladies within the group. The next thing I finished was my Raven Queen. She is from Nora Corbett, and it is also has, I combined it with the Mourning Tree by Whispered by the Wind Company. And it is done on 16 count dapple by Picture This Plus, and it's my conversion of colors to suit me. And then I got this frame, which came in pure black, and I did some what do you call it? It's the paint that you use if you're going to distress it. And then I had my husband clear coat it for me, and I added this little charm just to give this area was very plain, and it kind of stood out to me, so I added this this charm to it. And so that is how I finished that. And I just barely finished this. I had been waiting quite a while. It took me a long time to find the exact frame that I wanted. And then the time it also took me to do the painting on it and getting it clear coated, and then getting the Raven Queen into it. So it's been a process. Let's just say. So I was going to show that on my next video, but being that I decided I was going to do a finish parade, you got to see it here first. Okay, then we're going to go into some more pictures, because again, these items I stitched and then I gave them away as presents. The Home Sweet Home is by a Dutch Treat Design. It is on 14 count gray, and the colors are my choice because they were my friend's favorite colors. So it's DMC 115. The flowers are Cotton Candy by Gentle Arts, and the green is Grasshopper by Classic Colorworks. And those are the only three colors in there. That's all there is just those three. So that was stitched and given to a friend who just opened her new office. She was my realtor when we bought the house here in Idaho, and they just moved into a new office space. So I made that up for her to be able to hang on the wall. And the following one is Moonlit Pumpkin Carving by Lola Crow. It's done on 14 count Black Ada by Charles Craft. And it's my conversion of colors. And this was given to my grandson in October for him to use to decorate. He is fascinated by anything creepy, and he loves zombies and just scary stuff. So that, to me, just made this pattern perfect for him. The next thing I have to show you are my sewing projects, and these are tote bags. Now, the handles are tucked inside. They all have handles. They're just tucked inside for easier storage. But these are all different quilt blocks that I then put together to make tote bags. And I love this one. I want to make some more of these quilt blocks and turn them into project bags to sell on my Etsy account. All of these will be going up on my Etsy store. I just haven't had the time to do it yet. And like I said, all of them have handles. It's just that I've got them tucked inside so that they aren't flapping around on me. And they're all padded bags, and they've all got, you know, nice little lining in them. And then I've got this one, which is Ladybug. And I've got this puppy dog tote. And the back of that is just, and the back of my Ladybug is just the same as the design around the outside edge. But all of those will be going up on my Etsy account. I also had 2 sunflowers and a bumblebee. Is that all that there was? I'll put pictures in of all of the other ones that I have made and have already sold. So there was a total of 11 tote bags made this year. Then we have something that I need to put you on hold for a second to go grab because they're kind of bulky and I need to get them closer. Okay, so these are all, again, items that I will be putting on my Etsy account. They're called Kitchen Angels. They're made with a dishcloth, a dish rag, and a pot holder. And then I decorate them up with a little charm or beaded item or something. And you can put them in your kitchen as is, like this, or you can take them apart and use them for once you've gotten them for decoration. This one is got this cute little snowman charm and a button here. And another Christmas one. A third Christmas one. Oops. And again, a little snowman. Now these ones are for the fall. That one has an owl charm on it. And this one, fall or Thanksgiving. And that one has a little turkey on. And it's coming, it's not setting, but that's a leaf on there. And this says, counting your blessings. And then these are, oopsies, got stuck there. These are Halloween. So instead of kitchen angels, these are kitchen witches. And I just found these cute little hats, I think at Walmart. And this one has a raven charm and a spider button. And another one that is, that one has a jack-o'-lantern and a pumpkin button. But they're just fun little things that you can hang in your kitchen. I also made myself some pumpkin decorations to put on. I have this, it's supposed to be for candles, but it makes a big mess if you burn candles on it. So I just made up these little pumpkins. That's got a beaver on it with some leaves. This one is just some fancy material. And I did a felt center. And then this one, another fancy scrap of fabric that I had, and a wooden button, and a pine cone. So those are three. They're very easy to make. There's a million different tutorials on YouTube that you can find to make them. They go together super, super fast. Those three I made in less than an hour. So if you're interested in those, just go on YouTube and put in fabric pumpkin tutorials, and you'll have hundreds of them pop up. Oh, the next thing that I finished, but I didn't fully finish until recently, was my Zuka from Alessandra Adelaide. It is on 28 count rusty even weave, and it has my conversion of flosses. There are overdyes that I used. If you watch my videos as the year went along, I tell you what my conversion was. Well, I finally found how I wanted to finish this one. And it took several trips to town to get just the right fabric. I mean, I've got fabric. You can't say I don't have fabric. But no matter what I laid out with this design, it just did not work right. So I finally came up with this. And this is just a round wooden board. It had a saying on it. I got it from Hobby Lobby on their super great sale after Christmas. So I got this wooden board. It's about a ½ inch thick. It had this jute on it already, and I got it for $8. And then I cut out some foam board in the shape that I wanted it to go around my stitching. And then I found these, just what this was a white poinsettia decoration, and it had this along with it, and I just cut it apart and put it up there. Very simple, but I love how it turned out, and it just brings out the colors in my stitching like you would not believe, because this white here, that's the main color, has, you can kind of see it, but it has a variegation to it, and this fabric just pulled that variegation out like you wouldn't believe. It was amazing when I finally got just the perfect fabric to make this work. So another that has not been seen on my Flosstube, fully finish. And then there's another one. This is my combination of the February and the cherry from Sugar Stitches. I combined two different patterns. The February, the roses, and these hearts were in the February sampler. The cherries, the cake, and the cupcakes were in the cherry sampler. And I put them together and made this February just as I wanted it. And then I put, this is some fabric that I had in my stash, and cut it out and put it on this board with the rickrack, and it will go in a one of those leaner frames that you can get where you just set it on the table and it leans back for picture frame holder. I don't know what they're called, but they're leaners. You'll see it even in February when I have it on my shelf. I'll do a walkthrough of my February decorations. But yeah, that's how I finished that one. And again, this is first time for anybody to see my fully finish. And another fully finished that nobody has seen yet. And this is it's the Bird Herd free pattern that Boomerang Stitches gave out. It is stitched on 20 count Grandpa's sleeve. And again, I did a conversion of colors because I wanted to brighten it up. And this is what I put it on. Now this is just on a magnet so that I can change it. And also this is on a magnet so that this particular board can be used, I can change out the pattern on here. But for now, my Bird Herd is on it. And these are just little charms that I had in my stash that I added to this. And I put underneath the original pattern, obviously either said Bird Herd or Bird Nerd, I think, were two of the options that they had charted for you. I wanted this saying on something for a long time. It says, God finds a low branch for birds who cannot fly. And I thought it was perfect to go with these little birds. They're so cute. And it just, what a nice add-on. So that is how I fully finished my Bird Herd. And again, this is an exclusive to this video. Let's see, what else do I have written down here? Okay, so the last thing I have to show you is my finishes for my Sheep Virtues. I finished 10 this year. Now, they're not all from the Sheep Virtues collection, but they're all going together. Okay, sorry about that, but I had a little bit of a coughing fit. I was telling you, the Sheep Virtues, they're not, all of the squares are not from the Sheep Virtues collection, but they are all from Little House Needleworks. They are stitched together on 16 count French lace Aida that was given to me by a friend who has moved on from stitching on Aida and wondered if I would use it. I said, absolutely. And they're done with mostly the suggested DMC colors, all except for, in order to kind of bring them together and have a cohesive, this one green is a week's dye works. I can't remember the name of it, but I will put it in the description below the video so that you can you'll know which one of the weeks. Oh, jeez Louise, sorry. Which one of the week's dye works that I used. So anyway, the ones that I finished this year, where did it go? Okay, we will start with Friendship. And then this one is from I believe it's called Winter in the Woods. Again, I'll put it in the description box what series this is from. But it's called Black Sheep Barn. Then the next one I did was Love, Hope, Kindness, and this one was called Little Red Barn. And this Little Red Barn and this Little Red Barn are both from the same series. Then the next thing I did was Joyfulness, Simplicity, oops, sorry, Wisdom, and this one is called Grandma's Quilt Square. And this pattern also is in the same series as the barns. So I will figure out what series that was from and put it in the description box for you. But having said that, that is the end of my finish parade. And in total this year, both crochet, sewing, quilting, however you want to say it, and cross stitching, I finished 72 projects. So that's pretty good for 1 year. And I'm quite proud of myself for getting all of these done. And I will see you in January. In January, I will do basically a whip parade, but it'll also be my regular scheduled video because there are some whips that I worked on since the last time you saw me in early December. And I'm also doing a 12 by 12 because a lot of these projects, being that I finished them, I didn't start a new project yet because I knew I was going to be doing this 12 by 12 on New Year's Eve, and I wanted to get them sorted out and ready to go. So I will show you those, and I will show you my regular whips in my January video and let you know how I did on 12 by 12, if I got through all of the projects or if I missed a few. But regardless of that, they are going to be started in January. I also have for January 1st, I'll be stitching with Mrs. AZ Family Zoo and Karen the Stitching Owl for the New Year's Day stitching. They don't call it a Zoom because they do it on Google, but it's to stitch together for a couple hours and you bring out a new project or something that you want to work on. And that day will be the first day that I'll be working on my 2026 Blessing Sampler. So I'll have all of that information to share with you. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday. I hope you got lots of stitching goodness for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. And I will see you next year in 2026. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.